cars are lined up on the grid. The iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series. We are underway. They all come down into turn one for the first time. Welcome into iRacing Night here on Fans Choice TV and iRacing Live. We're getting ready to turn left and right this evening at Watkins Glen International. This is the NASCAR iRacing Class B Series Open Division. We're getting ready for 41 laps around the Watkins Glen International Raceway. Tony Stevens is back with us. Joe Cortez is here. And Tony, I know you had a little bit of time off, but we're now back with this B-Class car. A lot has changed over the last couple of weeks. Richard Holiday won a race. He's going to be in this race tonight in car number 12. But then you got guys like PJ Sturgis, Michael Conti. Field is stacked here tonight.
It really is a loaded field tonight, Tim. And of course, Watkins Glen always brings out the best in drivers. Sometimes can bring out the worst in drivers as well. Almost like a short track the road courses have become in the NASCAR top divisions of racing. Tonight I expect to be no different. We'll see some great racing. We'll see a lot of guys maybe show some tempers before the evening is over with. But one thing is for sure, Joe, we will see a fantastic event over the course of 41 laps here at Watkins Glen International.
An event it's going to be. Let's definitely put it that way. Tonight's event really is going to be a test for a lot of these guys as to what exactly they need to do in order to get ready for the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing next week. This is going to be a trial for a lot of these guys who are so used to driving different ovals. It's a road track that we're not used to seeing. These guys aren't necessarily comfortable with, so it's going to be really a testament to driver skill and to who's prepared the most for tonight's race.
Top 10 in points are on the screen right now, and the guys that we're used to seeing up in front of the series, guys like Trent Ringler and Van Isdal and Burley, Emmerman. On down through the list, Matthew Davis is here tonight as the field begins to roll. We'll go down our starting grid, and it's an all NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series front row with Alan Bose and PJ Sturgis.
Anthony Kernish and Jacob Harberts in the number 8 car. They'll make up row number 2.
Row number 3 will belong to Logan Clampett in the number 2 machine. The number 3 of Ryan Lowe in 6.
There's Matthew Davis. He'll start the 19 from position 7, and Richard Holiday on the outside in car number 12.
The 20 of Jeremy Davis and the 15 of Dylan Jones will make up row number 5.
Keegan Leahy and Ryan Borges together will make up row number 6.
Devin Janikowski will roll the 24 off from 13 to the outside. Joey Israelson in the 7.
Chad Harner was the final driver to take a qualifying time. He'll start 15th in the 25. And car number 6, Michael Conti, last season's NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series champion. First driver not to take time. He'll be on the outside of row 8. That, guys, is my pick for tonight.
A lot of provisional drivers here, starting with no time, including Johnny Reed Foley, who will start the number 9, position 17. Chuck Sweeting, position 18.
Josh Chin likes these road courses. Watch for him as well. He'll start the 13th from 19th, and Nicholas Doucette on his outside.
Danny Hansen, the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series driver, he'll squeak into this field. He'll start 21st, and Jake Nichols will start 22nd.
Michael Van de Sal will start 23rd. Michael Garaglia will start. Thank you, Tony. Michael Garaglia, I apologize for slaughtering that name. We start 24th. Todd Guerin and Victor Bartlett will finish out the rest of the field.
Tony, I think he had to rebound by saying Bartlett at the end of that. I think that's a nice little rebound for Joe.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Yeah. It's going to be a long race, guys. 41 laps is going to be an eternity here at Watkins Glen. Give me a little break. It's only going to get better from here.
And, you know, this is the first time this season where we're going to get to turn left and right on iRacing night. And it's a little warm-up, as Joe mentioned, for next week. for the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. Glad you could join us here on iRacing Live and Fans Choice TV. Alan Bose and PJ Sturgis going to lead this field to the green. Pace car is off, 5 car in control. Now the question is, we're going to go down this long straightaway, go into corner number 1. Who's going to make it out of 1, Tony?
That's a very good question, Tim. All on the brakes. They'll fan out 3 and 4 wide behind them through the right-hander. A couple of cars slide off into the runoff area, but we will stay green. And at the front of the field, the 5 of Alan Bose, he's quickly opened up about a 10-car length advantage back to PJ Sturgis in the number 1. Certainly track position, very important here, guys. And quickly, the entire field shows single file down the back straightaway.
Single file into the bus stop for the first time tonight. It will be Alan Bose leading them in. PJ Sturgis, Anthony Kurnich, Jacob Havertz, everybody single file. No real battles through the field except for maybe the 7 and it looks like the 8 machine. That will be the 6 machine. Check out the 6 machine of Michael Connie. He's going to start making the charge early as he gets around the 7, and he might have some friends joining him.
Just in front of them, Jeremy Davis nearly tagged the 10 of Keegan Leahy going in just past the bus stop, and now he has Ryan Borges right behind him. Janikowski's going to get a dive bomb here by the 6 of Conti. Conti is trying to pick up positions, Tony. You mentioned him as a favorite here this evening, but yes, it is 41 laps, but he needs to really be on it and be on it early because I don't think he's going to have the benefit of a lot of cautions here this evening.
No, Tim, but here's the thing. Mike Conti had that exact same situation play out last year when the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series visited the Glen. Tonight should be no different. In the course of simply 1 lap, Conti is up from 16th to 13th. 3 spots in 1 circuit. At that rate, he should be headed to the front in no time. And lap time-wise, he is just as fast, if not faster, than the leaders. Yeah, the first lap's not always a good indication, but he's right there with Alan Bose and everybody else up in the top 3 or 4 spots, Joe.
Well, let's hope your prognostication comes through because remember, this race isn't won on lap number 2, it's won on lap number 41, and a handful of drivers all fighting their way forward in order to try to make lap 41 their winning lap.
Yeah, there's a long way to go to get to that point, though. Up in front, car number 5 of Alan Bose leads this field. He's working lap number 2 and about to complete said lap as he comes down the front straightaway. PJ Sturgis in position number 2, about a second or so back from the number 5 of Alan Bose, and they come across the line this time, and PJ Sturgis just a touch quicker than Alan Bose. Could we see Alan Bose as possibly a road race ringer to try to pick up this win here next week too?
I don't know if you'd say he's a ringer at all, Tim, but certainly it's going to give him a lot of confidence going into next week's Peak Antifreeze Series event. This racetrack is not easy by any means. It's very technical, it's very difficult. It demands perfection each and every corner. One slip up, you can end up in the Armco and your night can be ruined. So certainly for Alan Bose, who's had a breakout season for that matter, Tim, it would be a very, very big shot in the arm. And wouldn't surprise me, though, if he was able to win this race tonight and then come back to have a solid run next week. I think that's very much within the realm of possibility. And again, after that big win earlier this year, he has really picked things up, Joe, and Alan Bose seems to be riding that wave of momentum we always talk about in this sport.
Now, Alan Bose has definitely had a wave of momentum overall this year. Right now, he's looking for his 4th televised win here on FansChoice.tv and PSR TV, iRacing Live, and everyone else you're watching us on. He's had 2 here in the Class B series. He's had 1 in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze series, and if he's able to complete this tonight, after 41 grueling laps, he'll have his 4th televised win in a year. I know 3 of them are in Class B, but still, a televised win's a televised win. And as the sport evolves, guys, the more TV time you can get in a positive way, the better that looks on yourself, which leads to sponsorships, which leads to better equipment, which leads to having a better chance of winning the $10,000 check over in the big leagues.
Conti moves up 1 more position and into the top 10 as he goes into corner number 1 that last time by. So he works lap number 4 and up into the top 10, passing Keegan Leahy, and now chases down at Dylan Jones in front of him in car number 15, and he is there through the bus stop, and he'll try to get past his 15 in this area of the racetrack, the back half of the racetrack, before we complete this 4th lap. Guys, pit strategy here this evening. I talked to Kenny Humpy a little bit earlier because they are looking obviously at this race next week as well, but they've been looking at the beat car as well because the team does do some beat car racing. He said about halfway is when we're going to see the pit window, about 19 to 22 laps or so. They can go comfortably 20 laps. You might see one stretch a lap or so, but he's saying 19 to 21 laps, which is halfway, one stop here this evening. So 5 laps into a stint, here goes Conti to the inside in corner number 1. That seems to be his passing place right now, Tony. He's picked up a couple of positions in corner number 1 the last couple laps.
Well, turn 1 has always been a passing location here at Watkins Glen, one of the heavy braking zones. You come down the hill off of turn number 11, and all of a sudden you have a wide open opportunity. The problem is it's very enticing to drive way too deep into the corner, jam the thing up in third, then in second, and then possibly wheel hop the car. Conti has been right on the edge of control, but he has mastered those passes with brilliance each and every time, and now he's moved up one more spot. Again, problem is he's in traffic. Alan Bose, on the other hand, is out in open country, if you will. He's got about a 2-second lead over PJ Sturgis, and he continues to extend it. So this might ultimately come down to pit stops and what people do on pit road. Tim, you mentioned how we can go about 20 laps or so on fuel. I think these guys can actually go longer, but in the interest of equality, they split the run up and do equal 20 and 21 lap segments. So again, we might see some guys short pit, I think, Joe. Maybe pit around lap 15, lap 10, see what they can do and maybe try to get some sort of track position that way. Would not be out of the question as now we have another pass towards the front of the field. Ryan Lowe just got bypassed by the, I thought that was actually the number 8. I take that back. It's not the number 8. That was the number 12 of Richard Holliday, and Michael Conti is right there in the middle of that one as well.
So Holliday picks up 2 positions in that last lap, once again on turn number 1. That's where he picks up that 2nd position. As Holliday moves up, Michael Conti will move up as well, and Ryan Lowe will drop from 8th to 6th. An interesting position for Lowe to be in, as now he's got to play catch-up to do guys who are very heavily favored to win this race. Off from the
Fastest driver on the racetrack right now, guys, is still your leader, Alan Bose. He's up to a 2-second lead on PJ Sturgis, and Conti continues to make positions. He's working up on Richard Holliday. He won a race here a couple of weeks ago on iRacing night, and now he's got the defending NPAS champion to the back bumper of the number 12. They'll go down the front straightaway, and I'm sure Conti going to try to set him up into corner number 1 here on lap number 7. As they dive down, Conti flashes a nose to the inside here, and he will pick up the position on Holliday. Holliday crosses him over at a corner number 1 and puts Conti nearly had to go in the grass there to try to make that that pass not work, not get into the 12. Oh, a little bump to the 12 here as well. Michael Conti means business here.
Well, he certainly does, Tim, and can't blame him. He's had really no contest on passes so far this race, and now Holliday has been able to pull out a couple of car lengths after that crossover move. So all that room and all that real estate that Michael Conti worked for, he is going to have to do it all over again. Up 9 spots in the first 7 laps, having a great run. And I'll tell you one thing, watching Michael Conti kind of reminds me of earlier this afternoon, Joe. Was at the race on a one-shot, studying video with driver Sarah Corniching. She'll be running the NASCAR K&N Pro Series event here on Friday, and seeing the different things you're able to pick up from video, I see a lot of that in the 6 of Mike Conti, being very aggressive on the brakes, being very, very deliberate with where he puts the car, and he is making no apologies for keeping his foot on the loud pedal. Identical to the film we watched earlier today of Marcus Ambrose. It's kind of what Mike Conti reminds me of right now, Joe.
The only difference, though, is those guys, they have to watch video, Tony, to see how they do it. With iRacing, these guys actually get to jump in the car and play with the track, figure out what they need to do, work with their teams in order to get the setup work, and you're seeing that really play into Michael Conti's favor right here as he gets past the 12 of Holliday. Holliday just makes a big swerve after he gets in the grass, and he will lose not 1 but 2 positions. He'll also drop 1 to the 3 of Ryan Lowe. So Michael Conti, a man on a mission, a man who's feeling very comfortable here in central New York, and someone who wants to walk away with a big win.
And Joe, it's not just the video, but she actually uses, as an actual real-life driver, she uses video to study, but she also has an iRacing rig at the shop. She told me today, I've probably made 1,500 laps around Watkins Glen trying to learn this place. And on top of that, watching video, because you can learn the place on iRacing, but you don't have something to base it off of. And if you can watch somebody like a Marcus Ambrose, see his shift patterns, see how he works the wheel, how he works the pedals, all of that together is certainly a great plus. Then you take that knowledge and put it into the sim, and you become absolutely spot on when you actually get to the real racetrack. So iRacing, again, a great tool that all these real-life drivers are using.
Richard Holiday in car number 12, as we documented that pass between him and Conti. It looked like he was trying to overdrive that race car a little bit, Tony, to keep Michael Conti behind him, and it let Ryan Lowe get past, and just behind him now, Dylan Jones and Matthew Davis, and a couple of others waiting for something to happen to Richard Holiday. I think he overdrove that car, trying to keep that Conti car behind him, but now the 6, because he took a little bit of time to get past Richard Holiday, he's got about 2 seconds or so between himself and Harbert's in position number 5. So these passes continue to get tougher as he gets closer to the front of the field. But now he's got some time to make up between himself and the 5th place car as he continues to work around this racetrack. Conti on lap number 9 of 41.
And really, this is the first clean lap that Michael Conti has had since trying to slice his way through the field. And speaking of Holiday, there he goes to the right side of Ryan Lowe in turn number 11. A little sideways in the throttle. They'll all fan out, use every inch of racetrack on the rumble strips to move Holiday up 1 spot to position number 7. Lowe back to 8th, and now Lowe is coming under fire from Dylan Jones, who just wasn't close enough for his comfort. Trying to make a pass on number 3, so he'll fall back in line. And this is a great battle from about, the 7th spot through, what is that, about 13th, 14th? Whole group of cars under a blanket as they work up the hill through the S's, Joe.
So far, everybody putting on a great show with a quarter of the way in. And we have our first shortstop of the night. The 23 of Todd Guerin will come to the attention of his crew. It'll be a quick tire change and some fuel, and he is down and away. Meanwhile, everyone back in single file racing through the bus stop into the back turns of this track here at Watkins Glen. No big changes so far, but it doesn't mean we're not going to see some big changes later on.
Michael Conti has taken one more position. He moves up to position number 5 and now chases down Logan Clampett in position at number 4. A few car lengths ahead of him. Alan Bose continues to lead, and he's extended now to 3 seconds over PJ Sturgis. Anthony Kernick in position number 3, about 8 seconds or so behind your leader, Alan Bose. Clampett and Michael Conti complete your top 5. It looks like everybody is still on this racetrack, gentlemen, with the exception of the 14 and Nicholas Doucette still on the racetrack, but he's 2 laps down.
Yeah, not sure exactly what happened to Nick Doucette, but he is being scored 2 laps in arrears, Tim. Not been a good night for him by any means. He's only got 8 laps scored on his race so far, and showing 2 laps down, that's never a good thing. But very curious how this is all going to play out now. It's up at the front of the field. Mike Conti has got clean racetrack. He's trying to run down Alan Bose. Conti last time was a 14.6 compared to Bose 14.4, and Conti made a pass on that lap. So if he can continue to reel in Alan Bose, he hasn't yet because he's been stuck in traffic. But I have a feeling now that he's at open track, you might see the 6 car just as fast, if not faster than number 5 of Alan Bose. This could be the story to watch over the next 30 laps, guys, and at this rate, he can close in and actually make the pass on Alan Bose before this is over. But if that gap continues to expand, it might be a different story.
Well, remember, though, Tony, we have 1 pit stop. These guys are going to have 1 pit stop that they're going to have here pretty quick, sometime next 10 laps or so, in order to switch tires, get new fuel, and be down on their way. So, during that time, guys, that could change everything. It's all a matter of who comes to the win and when they decide to make that stop, either short stop or do it more closer to lap 20.
We've got a nice little battle back here. Danny Hansen, the number 24, is mired in this pack back here with Janikowski. The 20 and the 13 are swapping a little bit of paint here. Josh Chin trying to make his way through. Oh, it's tight quarter racing here. We got the 24 of Janikowski. I believe that's Davis, and the 20 that's up there with the 13 of Josh Chin. they're lucky they didn't wreck through the S's and up through the bus stop here. They get it back to single file, Tony. But these guys are racing for 11th, 12th, 13th place on back. And these guys are letting it all hang out here in this first stint.
What do you mean they didn't wreck? They're still trying to, Tim. They're all one on top of the other. Finally getting spread out down the long straightaway between the carousel and turn number 10. But yeah, there were some hairy moments there for a few minutes, no doubt, especially through the S's. Such a narrow part of the racetrack, the Armco right on top of the racing surface, and you're virtually flat out through there. And speaking of which, here comes Jeremy Davis to pit road. We mentioned earlier, short hitting. Davis apparently going to do just that. He is in the conclusion of lap number 12, the first car on pit road. Joe, I anticipate we'll see 4 tires and fuel for Davis, or maybe, just maybe, he'll make a 2-tire stop and try to save a little time on pit road, as Danny Hansen has problems as well, Joe.
Danny Hansen will get into the 24 of Devin Janikowski, and now looks like the 9 might have gotten a piece as well. That's going to be Johnny Reed Foley. Now the 24 tried to wreck the 16 once again. Danny Hansen will get out of that incident, get out of that mess, but not great for the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series driver and Janikowski, who Janikowski just tried to turn him out there.
Yeah, Janikowski may have been broke, Joe, after the fact, but the 16 looked like he was there. We're going to show a replay of this. He was there into turn 1, but Tony, he may have just overcooked corner number 1 just a little bit, sent the 16 and the 24 for a slide. They get a little more contact after the initial, and then when they're trying to get back into place, the 16 drives into the 24, and that looked a little suspicious. 24 car then goes into the Armco, and on the way by takes a little swipe at the 16. Those two drivers I don't think are very happy at each other, but nevertheless, Danny Hansen's still on this racetrack. Doesn't look like he has a ton of damage to that race car, but I'm sure he will try to repair some of that when he does come down pit road. He's got Johnny Reed Foley right behind him now in the car number 9.
And Tim, when you watch the replay, you can see the wheels on Janikowski's car turn very, very decidedly to the left as they come back towards turn number 2. So I think that was a swipe at Danny Hansen. And it was just racing. It was a matter of Hansen, yes, like you said, overcooked the corner. Maybe got a little bit of wheel hop. Maybe Janikowski crowded him a little bit. Whatever the case is, whoa, we've got big trouble down off of turn number 1 once again. A few cars involved in this one, and somehow they get it all straight and rightened up. But there was a major incident there off turn number 1 that once again took a few guys and set them back a good 10 or 15 seconds.
Yes, that would be the 22 machine who was involved in that incident. Looks like you might have got some help from the 25 getting around, going into the turn number 1. As I take a look at it one more time, the 22 just overcorrects and then going to get sideways. The 26 T-boning him. Then the 22 gets forced into the wall. So Garligia, he's going to have some trouble now, trying to make it up. His night might be over for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, he got hit by 3 cars in that wreck. He's going to get it straight again and likely get that thing back to pit road and get a little bit of massaging done to that race car. That happened back around position number 17 into corner number 1 on that lap. Meanwhile, Alan Bose continues to work around this racetrack. Lap 15 being put on the board by Alan Bose. PJ Sturgis now 5 seconds behind. Anthony Koenig, Logan Clampett, and Michael Conti complete your top 5. And Tony, I know you were looking at Conti trying to bring it to the front of the field. Conti last lap by 1:14.97. To an Alan Bose 1:14.67. So Alan Bose just a touch faster the last couple laps over Michael Conti.
Well, he's been just a touch faster each and every lap, Tim. I've been keeping an eye on the intervals and the lap times in Conti, just a couple of tenths slower per lap than Alan Bose. Not sure if Conti used his stuff up coming through traffic or if simply he's that little bit off the 5 of Alan Bose. The advantage to Alan Bose, simply sit there and do his thing. There's no pressure, no traffic, nobody around him. He can hit his marks time and time again and try to save some of that equipment, maybe even save some fuel, although we do expect him and the rest of the field to be on pit road in the next 5 to 10 laps, and that could be the one chance that Mike Conti and anybody else has to gain ground on Alan Bose, because the way it's looking on the racetrack, Joe, it's not going to happen there.
Well, also take this into consideration as well. To get through to where he is at, Michael Conti had to pass 10 other cars. He picked up 10 positions on the field, check that, 11 positions on the field to get from 16th all the way up to position number 5. Unlike an oval track where you can ride in traffic, where you can conserve in the draft, You don't have that liberty at the Glen. You don't have that liberty at any road course for that matter, guys. So it's entirely possible that Conti burned his stuff up, and now he's just waiting for Alan Bose to throw the hand out and come down pit road, because when he comes down pit road, the playing field will be even effectively. Everything will be kosher and copacetic across the table, and then you'll have Michael Conti with the opportunity to strike once again.
22 battling with the 7 here. That's not for a position, but the 22 involved in that wreck earlier, and Israelson going to let him go and see what the 22 can do here as we continue to work under the green flag here. 6 seconds between your top 2, 5 and 1. We expect them down pit road in the next few laps or so as Alan Bose continues to work around this Watkins Glen International. And looking at the lap times, I don't think he's really dipped a wheel off this racetrack at this point. Solid run for Alan Bose.
It has been solid for him. And further back, not quite as solid for drivers like the 12 of Richard Holliday, Ryan Lowe, the number 8 of Jacob Harberts. Again, this group has been on and off the entire race. Holliday just pulled a great crossover on the number 8 of Harberts about a half a lap ago in turn number 1. He has reclaimed that position. Number 7, or check that, number 6 from Harberts has Holliday. So he now up 1 spot as they work down the hill off the carousel. And the long straightaway that connects that corner to the left-hander, turn number 10. And again, prime passing opportunity right here, but nobody nearly close enough, guys, especially as these tires begin to wear. Surprised we haven't seen one of this group duck out and maybe try to get some sort of advantage by short pitting.
It wouldn't surprise me, but I also have a feeling that, again, when we short pit, the slate's going to be wiped clean, and everyone's going to have the same gear once again. So that could effectively bring up your top 6, bunch them together, and then watch them do battle for position all over again. If you're Alan Bose, you want to exploit this lead. He has a 6-second lead over Heath Sturgis, 10 seconds on Anthony Kernich. You want to extend it as long as you can. If you're anyone else, including the 15 of Dylan Jones, with whom you ride on with, you're going to want to get that pit in early. Now we have the 13 of Josh Chin down on pit road.
Yeah, Josh Chen going to come down and get service to his race car. He's already down and away. And you talk about coming into pit road, hitting all your marks in this racetrack, but you really have to hit your marks coming down into pit road. Alan Bose will complete lap number 18 this time by, comes up through the final corner. We'll see if he dives down to pit road here. No, he does not. Stays on the racetrack to complete 18 on the racetrack. But if you're PJ Sturgis, if you're Michael Conti, Kernick, Clampett, anybody here in the top 10 that wants to make any sort of move towards the front or towards another position, you really have to hit your mark on pit road. Tony, is there more pressure to hit your mark on pit road if you're not the leader?
I personally think there is, Tim, because you know you can gain time. You also know you can lose a ton. When you're the leader, you're only focused about not losing time. And now Mike Conti is on pit road. He will come to the attention of the number 6 crew. Left side tires will be up in the air. 5 off and 5 on. We anticipate a full 4-tire stop and a full tank of virtual Sunoco fuel. Right side service in the process of being completed. Mike Conti down and away very quickly. No visible mistakes on the stop nor on his entry or exit. He'll maintain 45 miles an hour to the very end of the pit lane. Mike Conti is down and away. Now the question is, does this force the hand of Alan Bose? Will he make a trip to the pit lane this time around?
We will know here in just a second. He clears turn 10 without incident, goes wide, goes into turn number 11 without incident. And is he going to duck down? Not this time. So Alan Bose will at least chalk up one more lap here at the Glen as he crosses the start-finish line. But he's going to be forced to come down here pretty soon, sooner rather than later, I imagine, as now he's starting to run up against his window.
Anthony Kernick and Logan Clampett going to come on to pit road here this time by. Look like a clean entry for those two drivers. The 12 of Holiday behind them going to stay out on the racetrack. And Harberts and Lowe behind them also going to come on to pit road. So at least 4 of the top 10 taking the opportunity to come down onto pit road. And behind them, Ryan Borges as well going to make the opportunity to come down and get service on his race car just shy of the halfway point in this race. When Alan Bose comes by the stripe this time, he'll complete 20 of the 41 laps. So a lap and a half shy, Tony, of the halfway point in this race this evening.
Right. Yes, Tim. Right about when we expected everybody to come down pit road, somewhere around halfway, give or take a couple of laps. although we did see Jeremy Davis in earlier, and keep an eye on him. Let's see where he cycles through once all this is said and done. Will that short pit be an advantage, or will it maybe not have him any sort of advantage at all? Bose through turn number 11 and through the gearbox, down one on the brakes hard on the entry of pit lane. Alan Bose comes in for service slowly at 45 miles an hour, and he has to go all the way down towards turn number 1. And that's one of the trickiest parts in the pit lane, guys. You begin to crest the hill, the car wants to pick up speed. You've got to be very mindful of keeping your RPMs in range and not speeding. Bose does it to perfection. He'll get it stopped in the box at the end of the pit lane. Crew will go around. It will be a typical 4-tire stop. Left side's first, as is the tradition here at Watkins Glen, and right side service will complete on the number 5 machine. Alan Bose will be down and away momentarily. Behind him, PJ Sturgis also in for service, and now Bose is out to rejoin the racing crowd, and we'll see where he ends up in relation to those that have already pitted. Got a feeling it's still going to be a pretty sizable lead.
Alan Bose, excellent stop for the Camaro as he gets down and away back on the racing service. PJ Sturgis in his Ford Mustang, and also in an excellent position to be in. Now Ghani, though, look what he's done. He's found a way to get up to position number 3 as a result of those pit stops and some very creative passing out there. So Michael Ghani, once again, back in the hunt. And now we really get to see what happens. You have 3 guys, 3 quality racers, who are all on brand new gear, going to go at it and try to win themselves a race here at Watkins Glen.
We'll see what these guys have in the second portion of this event. Alan Bose working lap number 21, and we'll see how much he loses from this second portion compared to the first, or vice versa. Bose working through the final couple of corners here, and he'll step up on the front straightaway and complete the 21st lap. We're halfway through this race, 21 laps down, 20 laps to go at Watkins Glen International on iRacing Night, the NASCAR iRacing Class B Open Series. And Alan Bose is going to come across the line once again as the leader of this event.
Richard Holliday came down pit road that time, Tim, and he narrowly missed leading a lap by about a half a second on the pit lane. Ultimately, though, Sturgis will cycle to 3rd, Conti cycles to 4th, and what was about a 15-second gap is now 12 seconds between Bose and Conti. Conti last time, a 1:14.5, one of the quicker laps we've seen in the turn, but that number 6 has been all kinds of sideways, anything but straight. And Joe, you know as well as I do, driving one of these things sideways might be fast for a short while, but it is not good for tire wear, and Mike Conti has got a huge gap to make up to PJ Sturgis. 6 seconds over the course of 20 laps, not impossible, but he certainly is going to need a little bit of help to make it happen, I think.
He's going to need a lot of help to make it happen. He's going to need a mistake from someone up in front of him. He's going to have some problems in front of him. In fact, more importantly, though, guys, I think he's going to need to have someone make a mistake up in front of him in order for that gap to be closed.
We invite you to join in on the conversation on Twitter, hashtag iRacing Night. And Tony, I believe that Josh Chin has some fans, more specifically a fan. His girlfriend is tuned in and watching this evening. Josh Chin currently runs the 13 in position number 13 as he tries to march his way towards the front of the field. Josh Chin has 2 positions actually right in front of him, and it's the Davis clan. It's Matthew Davis and Jeremy Davis. Not sure if there's any relation there or not, Tony, but Josh Chin going to try to go down into corner number 1 here and pick up at least one of those positions. Flashes the nose in the 19. 19 going to give him a little bit of room here. Going to get tight off corner number 1, but it looks like Josh Chin going to have the run, and he'll pick up one more position, move him to 12th.
Grabbed himself a handful of Max Pappas Incorporated steering wheel and stole that spot from the number 19 of Matthew Davis. A great job by Josh Chin. And for that matter, Max Pappas Incorporated, you see it on a lot of these cars, guys. Great promotion, and this is one of the things I love about iRacing. They're able to get in with all these different sponsors, these different companies who have a brand or a product they want to promote, and they come up with some really great programs for the racers. In the case of Max Pappas Incorporated, he really targets the actual racers, and of course, he targets the sim racing actual racers as well, but then the sim racers can get the benefit too. But they make some great wheels out of Mooresville, North Carolina, and they're, as we said, targeting sim racers who might have aspirations of getting into a real car, as so many have done, drivers like Mike Conti and others. And you see that, oh man, these cars, great contest they've got going. One iRacer is going to win themselves a brand new MPI steering wheel. Those things are valued at close to $300 a piece retail, so really, really cool deal that Max Pappas and company are pulling off here with iRacing this summer.
Meanwhile, back on track, Alan Bose continues to lead. He's got 5.8 seconds over PJ Sturgis, 12 seconds over Michael Connie, Anthony Kurgis, and Logan Clampett. Round out your top 5. Dylan Jones currently running in 6th. Jacob Harbert's right behind him in 7th. Richard Holiday, Ryan Lowe, and Ryan Borges rounding out your top 10. And guys, if you want to, there's one thing to talk about class warfare, but this I don't know what to call it. The haves and have-nots, maybe? Alan Bose, 5.8 second lead over everybody else, and everyone else from there on down is in double digits.
Kernick has a battle on his hands right now in car number 4. He's got Logan Clampett behind him in the 2. I believe the 22 is hanging on to this battle as well. He is a lap down car, but it's Kernick and Clampett going at it for position number 4 down the front straightaway. They complete lap number 24 and begin lap number 25 here, and we'll see if Logan Clampett can try to pick up a couple of spots here. He's only got Conti about 2 seconds in front of him if he can get by Anthony Kernick. Great little battle there for position number 4 as they head up towards the S's.
It is a great little tussle, no doubt, Tim, as they work up the hill through the right-hander. Now the left-hander. It's virtually a blind corner when you top the hill. You've got to know where you're pointing the car and just pray you point it in the right spot, because you really can't see the racing surface until you're already on the crest of that hill, and by then it's way too late to make any sort of corrections. Through the bus stop now, it looks like Clampett losing ground to Kernick as they continue through the bus stop into the carousel. I think Anthony Kernick might have himself a solid top 5 car here tonight, but I'm not sure he's got anything for Mike Conti, who continues to stretch it out just ahead of them. Conti worked by one of the slower cars that had an incident earlier. That is the Victor Bartlett machine. But still, great battle for 4th as they work to the left-hander that is turn 10.
Still great battle on the field. Might be the only major battle going on the field right now. A quick scan of everybody still on track shows a huge disparity between drivers out here. As we have one driver, looks like he's getting a little bit lost out there. The 24th, Janikowski, once again in the dirt coming into turn number 11. That's going to hurt him quite a bit out there. Janikowski currently being scored 4 laps down after that incident. His night just goes from bad to worse very quickly.
You get a couple of 2-car battles around this racetrack. You have Jeremy Davis and Matthew Davis going at it, the 20 and the 19 at positions 12 and 13. Chad Harnar is back here with Chuck Sweeting. That is 19th and 20th on the racetrack with the 25 and the 11, a few car lengths in between them. But then you have that battle up in front between Kernick and Clampett. Behind them, Jacob Harberts and Richard Holiday going at it. And Holiday actually just took the spot from Harberts. That is the battle for position number 7 with the 8 and the 12. And they have Dylan Jones just in front of them. Nice little battle going on there. And is that Ryan Lowe behind? Yes, it is Ryan Lowe and Ryan Borges. The 8 car has a moment. The 3 car gets tagged from behind. Here comes the 17. We see bump and runs on short tracks. I think we just saw one at a road course.
Like we said at the outset, Tim, the road courses, the top tiers of NASCAR, have kind of become a new version of short track. A lot of bumping and grinding, a lot of tempers will be shown, and a lot of bumpers that will be used as well, as we just saw the case, Borges into Lowe, and Lowe back a spot. And that's one of the great things about these road courses. There's enough speed at the end of the straightaways to get the thrill, but there's also those slow corners where you can bump and grind and lean on the guy, and aerodynamics don't matter nearly as much as they do on, say, a big speedway. Speaking of Holiday trying to make things happen on speedway or otherwise, he was a little bit quicker than Dylan Jones and pulled the old short track maneuver right to the inside. And the road course style outbreak. Did we get them all worked in there? I think we did. So Holiday now up to position number 6, and he is going forward after the pit stop as opposed to backwards like he was at the end of the last run. So Holiday having a great run as well.
Holiday's having a great run, but Father Time is going to catch up to him very, very quickly as you see Holiday going through the bus stop.
Whoa, Jones!
Trouble on track.
Dylan Jones went around right behind him there, Joe. Just missed the bus stop. The rumble strips got him upset and sideways, and Dylan Jones just threw away a top 10 run. Minor contact with the Armco, but there was some contact with the Jake Harbert's machine, and Dylan Jones going to be probably headed to the pit lane momentarily to get that car looked at. If nothing else, get 4 brand new virtual Goodyear Racing Eagles on it.
Yeah, he's going to continue on here as the 15 is going to be in front of Israelson, I believe that is, and that's 14th place right now for Dylan Jones. So he lost a lot of time, a lot of positions. He's off the racetrack again, coming up to the final corner, and I would expect him down on pit road this time by, or is he going to keep it on the racetrack? He's going to stay on the racetrack and try to weather the storm out for the remaining laps in this race. Up in front, Alan Bose now has a 7-second lead over PJ Sturgis in car number 1. Michael Conti is about another 6 or so seconds back from PJ Sturgis, and he's got a little bit of an advantage on Anthony Kernick in position number 4, who has about a 3-car length lead on Logan Clampett. Clampett closes up in the corner, trying to make something happen on the number 4 car for position number 4.
Yeah, taking a look back at what happened to 15, I think he just overestimated or maybe underestimated his exit out of the bus stop. He hit the rumble strips too hard, got into the grass, and that, as Tony said, just upset his car, the equilibrium on that car, if you will, and he's going to end up going spinning, and it's going to be probably the end of his night, or at least the end of his top 10 finish here.
So we continue to work as lap number 29 being scored on the board. Alan Bose, PJ Sturgis, and actually Alan Bose is going to come up on a lap car. That is Todd Guerin. And he's actually coming up at the rear of the field, Tony, because Todd Guerin was just passed up by Chuck Sweeting, Chad Harner, and Johnny Reed Foley are in the sights of the leader. There goes Alan Bose to the inside of Todd Guerin to put him 1 lap down. That was an entertaining little battle back here the last couple laps for 17th on back.
Yeah, there are some great battles throughout the field with Johnny Reed Foley and Chad Harner and Todd Guerin and people like that as they are just on the cusp of going a lap down. The leader, Alan Bose, about 3 or 4 seconds behind them, or in the case of Todd Guerin, 3 or 4 car lengths in front of him, as Bose put him a lap down this most recent circuit. And that's one of the things you get in this road racing deal, guys. You've really got to be perfect, as we said at the outset. Every corner, every time you lose a little bit of ground, it compounds itself around the Watkins Glen International Racecourse. And so far, Alan Bose has done the greatest job of losing the least amount of time, back up to nearly 7 seconds worth of an advantage over PJ Sturgis and Michael Conti, nearly 14 seconds back. With nearly, 11 laps to go this time, I think Alan Bose has got this one in the bag, Joe. Unless he can, steps a wheel off into the grass or does something crazy, as long as he keeps it between the Armco, I think this one is all his.
10 minutes. Keep that in mind. These guys run about 1:14 around this track. So Alan Bose has about 11.4 minutes left in this race, and everyone else trailing him has only 11 minutes left to try to make something work.
Yeah, and that seems like an eternity, Joe. There's a lot of corners that could end up, you got to hit your mark for every single corner. You can't have an off, you can't dip a wheel. You have to be perfect if you want to at least maintain the position that you are in. Alan Bose coming up on some more lap traffic here. Chuck Sweeting, I believe that is, letting Alan Bose go down into corner number 1, and Chuck Sweeting will fall 1 lap down in position number 19 to Alan Bose, and now Chad Harner next on the list.
Yeah, Harner will be the next car to be put on the gun sights for Alan Bose, although he is a little bit of an easy target, if you will, being that he's essentially a lap behind the leader. So that should be a relatively easy pass once Bose gets there. It should not be a problem at all. That'll leave 18 cars on the leader. Check that. Well, there we are. There we go. That'll leave 17 cars now on the lead lap as Bose goes by. Harner goes ahead and yields the position down the back straightaway. Next one on the target, Johnny Reed Foley. He's running in the 17th spot. The car's got a little bit of damage on it, and Alan Bose going to be reeling him in like a fisherman on a bass boat.
Yeah, there is that, isn't there? The 20 machine of Jeremy Davis will get around the 19 of Matthew Davis, and that should change positions for them. Victor Bartlett behind them as well. Meanwhile, rest of the field's really played out single file throughout it, as we only have less than 10 to go at this juncture.
Yeah, Alan Bose going to try to hit all his marks here with 10 laps remaining and come home with the road course victory here. PJ Sturgis has the 23 behind him. He just put Todd Guerin a lap in his rear view mirror. So Sturgis now coming up, Tony, on that lap traffic that Alan Bose did about a lap or 2 laps ago. Conti comfortably in third. Koenig has actually, well, the last lap by, he had gained a little bit on Clampett, but Clampett nearly gained it all back into corner number 1. He continues to shadow the number 4 around this racetrack. A couple of close 2 and 3 car battles around this racetrack. Jacob Harbert's leading Ryan Lowe and Ryan Borges, I believe that is back there. That's probably the closest battle on the racetrack. Those 3 cars within a second of each other and battling for position number 7.
We're getting down to crunch time, Tim, so you've got to hang it all out, lay it all on the line. A couple of those guys nearly smacking the Armco as they came up the hill off turn number 3. We talked about how the left-hander, turn 3, is a blind corner. You just got to pray you hit your marks, and then you come out on the other side of the hill. No different here. In fact, see a little bit of damage still in the Harvard's car. That was in the incident earlier with Logan Jones. Doesn't seem to have hampered his performance much at all, but certainly no, it's got to be in the back of his mind, Joe, that he's run into something. He's not sure how badly the car is damaged, and he's got pressure behind him from Ryan Lowe and Ryan Borges. Certainly something that I know I would be thinking about if I got down to the waning laps of an event.
Well, you got time to think about it, but you don't have a whole lot of time. 30 lap, currently scoring lap number 33, 8 to go, which is not a whole lot of time left in this race. If you're going to make a move, now is your time to do it. The question is there anybody out there? Does anybody know what time it is, number 1? And number 2, does anybody have anything to catch up to Alan Bose looking for TV win number 4 here? 6.5 seconds is PJ Sturgis' time behind Alan Bose. 13 seconds is behind Michael Conti. 16 seconds is Carnage. I don't know. Alan Bose is going to maybe his own worst enemy for the next 10 minutes because he's going to be the one who holds the key to this race in his hand.
Alan Bose controls his own destiny right now. As long as he keeps it on the pavement, he's likely going to walk away with this victory. But if he does dip a wheel, it gives PJ Sturgis and the rest of the field at least a little glimmer of hope. He comes along this time, lap number 33 completed, beginning lap number 34 for Alan Bose, and he's the one that controls his own destiny right now, and I'm sure he's starting to think maybe big picture. Maybe next week, NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, maybe he can take away another victory. But, Tony, keep in mind, Alan Bose, yes, started on the pole. He pulled away from PJ Sturgis. The difference, Michael Conti, yes, he is a little bit faster than Conti, but Conti had to burn up a little bit of his stuff in the first run after starting in position number 16. Could we see something next week that we're seeing here tonight that maybe qualifying is going to be huge when we hit the road next week here at the Glen?
Oh, it's always important here, Tim. Track position is king. The best way to get it is to qualify and ultimately start up front, something Michael Conti did not do. It's also very important to be smooth and to make sure you hit your marks very deliberately. Mike Conti is hitting his marks, but he is anything but smooth here tonight. Something he might need to work on for the Peak Antifreeze Series next week. Otherwise, that could come back to bite him and ultimately send him packing throughout the field as they go past him over the course of the laps next week. But again, we'll find out and see how it all works out. Nonetheless, Conti is up to third, Sturgis second, as you said, and Bose continuing to stretch it out over both of them at the front of the field. Lap 34 in the books, 7 circuits remaining, Joe, and again, Bose just laying it to him here tonight.
Something to consider at this juncture, guys, as we look ahead to next week. Number 1, next week's race is about 10 laps longer, so there will be more time to make or break your race. Number 2, this is only half of the field that we're going to see in 2 weeks' time. Tonight's field was only 26 drivers. Next week will at least be 42, maybe 43 drivers, all trying to do business here at Watkins Glen. So, as we look forward to next week's race, this really is an appetizer to what's going to be an incredulous race on Fans Choice TV in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. And it's really going to be tonight's race, as I said earlier, is a testing ground for these drivers. They can test what they need to do, what they need to adjust, what they need to fix here at the Glen tonight in order to make sure their run next week is flawless. Emphasis on flawless.
And obviously a different race car, but as you mentioned, Joe, those sight lines, getting the hand-eye coordination down, getting your shift pattern down, going to help a little bit as well, with especially some of these drivers that mainly turn left instead of turning left and right. throughout the course of an event. Alan Bose continuing to lead, 7.6 seconds on PJ Sturgis, Michael Conti in position number 3, and Anthony Kernick going to come up with some lap traffic here. That is the number 21 car of Banasdal, not having a great run this evening, one of the B-class regulars, but Kernick now going to have Clampett close up on him once again. I think if there's any sort of chance for Clampett to take position number 4, Tony, he's been shadowing Anthony Kernick. I think he's going to make that move in turn 1 and hope it sticks for the rest of the lap around. Maybe a last lap pass, maybe for 4th. Going to have to watch that as a 23 going to go in the rearview mirror of these guys too.
Oh, that might have been the best chance that Clampett had to get around Kernick, was right there, using some lap traffic to his advantage, but ultimately that car pulled aside. That would be the Todd Guerin machine that pulled over to let the top couple of runners go by. So that might change things just a little bit. You see Kernick trying to arc the corner in turn number 9, use that run off. Not going to quite work for him. Clampett is there. He'll think about it now. He'll peek to the bottom. No, not comfortable making that move just yet. And that car wheel hopped on the brakes so hard, and Clampett might have just given it away. Luckily, he gathered it back in, wrestled that car back into submission. Through the right-hander they go. They'll cross the stripe this time. 5 laps to go. Can Clampett reel Kernick back in for the 4th spot? It's a very real possibility, Joe, but one thing's for sure, Clampett has that car on the edge trying to get to that position.
Down in the box, you right on board with the 3 of Ryan Lowe as he tries to catch up with the 8 of Jacob Harberts. Harbert's not interested in giving up position number 7 as they cross the start-finish line here at Watkins Glen going into turn number 1. Ryan Lowe, though, he's on his tail. Ryan Borges in that battle as well. It's a 3-car battle for top 10 positions out for a top 10 position out there on the field. With the season coming to a close, points are everything for these drivers.
Yeah, coming down to the end of this one, Ryan Lowe, Harberts, and Borges continues to be the battle. If you want to get involved in iRacing, we got a perfect promo for you. The code's at the bottom of the screen. You can go over and get iRacing for 3 months for the price of 1. You'll also get the late model stock car, which is a great training tool that if you want to turn left or right, the late model stock car is a perfect tool to do so and to learn around these race courses, also to work your way up through the oval ranks with that late model stock. So once again, go down, see that code down there, write that down, and go over to iRacing.com. After this event, of course, you're going to watch the last few laps of this one and then go over and sign up for iRacing if you're a new member and get involved in what you see here. You could be racing on PSR TV, iRacing Live, Fans Choice, all of the affiliates in this B-class car sooner rather than later. 17 car almost overshot the final corner and almost got into Ryan Lowe. Lowe in the number 3 occupies position number 8 behind Jacob Harberts as they run down the front straightaway on lap number 38.
Those guys have been going at it ever since the pit stop around lap number 20 or so when they came down the pit lane for 4 tires and a full tank of virtual Sunoco fuel, and they have been inseparable ever since then. They're nearly 40 seconds behind the leader, so almost half a lap behind Alan Bose, but it doesn't matter to them. They're engaged in a heck of a battle as Lowe and the number 8 of Harbert starting to pull away from Borges ever so slightly, but Lowe continues to stalk Harbert. Has yet to really pull out the line and make a move, but you know he's got to be plotting it. He's got to be seeing the vulnerabilities on the 8 car of Jacob Harbert. He's followed him around for what, the last 10, 15 laps or so, Joe? And Ryan Lowe, we know, he's nowhere near getting up to Richard Holiday. That's 5 seconds ahead of him. So he really is focused on one thing, and that is getting the spot from Jacob Harbert and moving himself up to position number 7.
Position is position is position, and if you can't win it, you want to finish as close to the front as you can. That's why you see these drivers continuing to battle. Even if we are on lap 38, getting ready to score lap 39, that means there's still 4.5, 3 laps to go before we crown ourselves a winner. Meanwhile, Alan Bose might be in trouble. Went in through the dirt, through the bus stop, made almost the same mistake we saw a couple other drivers make a moment ago. Alan Bose, however, able to keep it under control, but not after doing a little dirt tracking up front. Alan Bose continues to hold on to the lead by 8 seconds and counting.
Yeah, he'll come by this time and have 2 laps to go. He's going to have some lap traffic in front of him. The 22 and 26 have been battling for, well, it's not for a position, but they've been battling for position on the racetrack, let's say. Then you got the 16 of Danny Hansen, who's on a completely different lap. So there goes the 22, going to pull over for the 5 of Alan Bose, and he's going to close up the 26. And the 16, Danny Hansen, is the last lead lap car right now, and he sits in position number 14. We have 2 laps to go in the leader.
In 2 laps, it'll be very, very long for Alan Bose. You know he's hearing every noise that car is making, and every little thing seems to accentuate and exaggerate itself as he makes every single corner here around the Watkins Glen International Racecourse. Again, through the inner loop, the place that gave him trouble 1 lap ago. He'll hook the curb just perfectly and work his way to the carousel. And again, Alan Bose, unstoppable so far here tonight. I do not anticipate him making a mistake yet. He hasn't, again, for the rest of the evening. Next car in front of him is Danny Hansen, and Alan Bose will probably get to him before the race is over. But Joe, what a dominating performance by Alan Bose as he works his way through left-hander turn number 10. This time off the right-hand turn number 11, he will see the flag of surrender, the white flag in the air. 2.4 miles left for Alan Bose around Watkins Glen.
And for a lot of other drivers behind him, it might just be a matter of surrender. Alan Bose dominant, leads pole to pole, but it's not over yet. 11 turns stand between Alan Bose and victory. Will he be able to complete it into the S as he goes one last time?
And he'll come up on a lap car before this is done. That is Danny Hansen in car number 16. We look through the 3 car of Ryan Lowe, racing Jacob Harbert's hard in this last lap. We're coming up to this last lap. 3 on the back of the 8. Going to try to rattle his cage a little bit. 3 wheel hops a little bit in the final corner. They are going to come to the white flag here. And the 8 is going to gain a little bit of time on Ryan Lowe. Lowe messed up that last corner, and now he's got the 17 of Borges behind him, and to the inside, 17 car going to pick up 1 more position here. 3 going to try to cross him over. A little bump there out of corner number 1, as up in front, Alan Bose in car number 5, about to come across the stripe to pick up this key win. Final couple of corners for the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series driver, and he is setting up well already for next week. Checkered flag is in the wind, and Alan Bose is going to go to victory lane at Watkins Glen in the NASCAR iRacing Class B Series Open Division. PJ Sturgis 8 seconds behind, and he'll come across the stripe here and collect position number 2. Conti in 3rd, I believe, he's got a couple of lap cars battling in front of him.
A couple of cars battling, and back on this battle further back, Tim, we were watching before Bose came to the stripe. The 17 of Borges nearly got moved by Ryan Lowe, but Lowe could not complete the pass. Final 2 corners. This is the battle again for position number 8 ultimately. And Harbert's going to claim position 7 as they work down the front straightaway. Borges to 8th, and Ryan Lowe will claim position number 9. 10th will be Josh Chin. Girlfriend watching and all. So great racing, and definitely, Joe, throughout the field, and spectacular battles all throughout the entire course of 41 laps. But one thing again for certain, Alan Bose flawless here tonight, and certainly going to be one to be watched 1 week from now in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series event.
Well, this is definitely just a boost for his confidence as he celebrates his win here a little bit, having a little fun on the track here at Watkins Glen. This is just a big boost to his confidence. It's a big boost to what he already knows he can do, and now it's just a matter of, all right, guys, we did this once last week. Let's do it one more time. We may not be able to catch the leaders, but we can definitely still get in the top 10 points and walk away with a little bit of money for our efforts this year.
So Alan Bose will come to the front straightaway. He'll celebrate a little bit more, and we'll step away and take a quick break, bring you back to the post-race show where we will talk to as many as the top 5 as we can find here at the virtual Watkins Glen International. You are watching iRacing Night on Fans Choice TV, iRacing Live, and all of our affiliates. Don't go away. a move. Truex on the outside, contact made. 56 slides it in at 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy. Welcome back to the Watkins Glen International, and Alan Bose is your winner on the B Open division, the NASCAR iRacing Class B Series Open. PJ Sturgis, Michael Conti, Anthony Kernick, and Logan Clampett are your top 5. We're waiting for Alan Bose to get into victory lane, and Joe Cortez is down in victory lane with our winner this evening, Alan Bose.
Alan Bose goes pole to pole tonight, winning the race here at Watkins Glen. Alan, congratulations on the big win. How does it feel to win here at the Glen?
Thank you, and it feels great. I knew we had the car to do it. It's just a matter of execution, and we were able to do that pretty well tonight.
Execution was flawless from every step of the way. Where did it all come together? Was it the pit stops? Was it the pit strategy? Was it the car? What really made it all come together for you tonight?
I think it was the start of the race when I was able to pull out to about a 7.5 second lead right before pit stops. I could have had a slightly better pit stop, but I had a big enough lead where I could afford a slight mistake. And just all week in practice, I felt like we had the car to win, and I think we showed it tonight.
Big win tonight, 4th televised win on Fans Choice TV. The only problem is you got to do it again next week for the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. What's the chance we see the number 21 in victory lane in 1 week's time?
I don't know. Hopefully it's above 50%. That'd be great. But hopefully next week we could take our tribute car for my crew chief, Houston Hamer. It's going to be called the Dixie Twister. It's going to be a little bit different than the normal colors that I run, so hopefully we can get that car up front, get it some good TV time.
Alan Bose gets good TV time tonight, looks to do it one more time in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series next week when they go racing at Watkins Glen. Alan, congratulations on the win. We'll see you next week when you try to do it again.
Thank you, Joe.
Let's go ahead and go to Tony Stevens, who's caught up with second place finisher PJ Sturgis.
PJ Sturgis, a very valiant effort in second. And PJ, did you enjoy the scenery out there? You were pretty much unchallenged for your second spot over the course of the night. Was it as easy as it seemed, or did you at least learn something for next week? Maybe that little bit extra you're going to need for the Peak Antifreeze Series race?
Really, I kind of messed up the start there and let Alan get away, but I don't think it would have mattered. I didn't have anything for him anyway, so hats off to him. But yeah, this car drives so much different than the Cup car that, maybe just learn to get in the rhythm a little bit, but just happy to come home in second with this big of a split. I was more worried about Conti coming there at the last stint, but I think he used his tires up a little bit and was able to kind of keep him at bay. So, second place in this field is pretty good, and could be happy with that.
Is there anything, you said there's not a lot that transfers, but is there anything that really you can take into consideration? For instance, we saw Conti sliding that car around. Can you take into account tire management or line or anything like that, or is it really that much different that there's absolutely nothing that will transfer from this car to the Cup Series car you'll be running 1 week from now?
Yeah, for me at least. I mean, I'm kind of a road guy as it is, running the GT3 series, so this is as much different from Cup car as it, to me, at least, as it is from a GT3 car. So there's not really a lot that transfers between the three cars. So just gotta keep working hard over this next week, see if we can have something for Alan next Tuesday. So I know with guys like Timu, and I'm sure Conti and Kenny are going to be on their game. So it's going to be one heck of a race next week, to put it lightly.
I think I agree with you. It's going to be fun, no doubt. That's PJ Sturgis, the runner-up here at Watkins Glen tonight in the Xfinity E-Class Series cars. I think Tim Terry has caught up with the guy that ended up in third, and that would be none other than defending Peak Antifreeze Series champion Mike Conti. Tim?
Well, Mike, we've spent a lot of time in the booth together, but this is the first time in a little while that we've done an interview together. Talk about this third place run.
Well, Tim, it's good to be racing again. It's good to have a competitive run for the first time in a long time in one of these broadcasted races. So, extremely happy with that. It was a good race. I had a lot of fun. Got to work my way up through traffic. Maybe learned a little bit about traffic management, tire management going into next week's peak race, and hopefully we can come back with something a little bit better for that race and see if we can't get ourselves a win.
Talked about tire management. Starting back where you did in position number 16, was it a matter of trying to get to the front of the field and maybe burning some stuff up in that first half of that race?
It was tough. For the first couple laps, I didn't really know how my pace compared with Bose or PJ, so I was kind of thinking that maybe I got a shot at it. But then I kind of was getting told that they were a couple tenths faster some laps, and then some laps we'd kind of trade back and forth. So once I knew that I wasn't going to catch Bose, I tried to go after PJ the second run. And that didn't work out very well either. I still didn't have enough for him. So at that point, I just tried to keep the tires under it as best as possible and try not to wreck it because, I'm sure you guys probably saw at one point or another I was kind of all over the place after a few laps. Definitely didn't have the setup under me completely, but that's what I love about this place. You can have something that's subpar, have something that's not really all that great, and kind of just drive yourself out of it and salvage something. And third place in a split like this is really cool. So. Good to finally get all my guys back up there. Peak Blue Def, JDR Graphics, the RCRL Main Performance, all the guys that have stuck with me in a subpar season with the Peak Antifreeze Series. Good to finally get them some TV time here tonight.
And I was going to ask you that as well. You guys have struggled this season with setup. Heading into next week, where the field is so close in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, you mentioned it, putting it back in the driver's hands a little bit. Does that give you a confidence boost next week? And what are your goals going in to Watkins Glen? Can we put the 5-car into victory lane in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series again?
I'll just put it to you this way: if we're gonna win a race this season, and the season's almost over, it's gone by extremely quick this year. If we're gonna win a race this year, it's gonna be at Watkins Glen. We're gonna test like we did last year, fire up the old telemetry, get that going, see if we can maybe figure some stuff out like we did last year. I don't think the same package is going to work this year just because of the changes with the suspension and all that stuff. Because a lot's changed in a year. So we're going to have to kind of rework things. We tried using the old package. I don't think there's enough speed in it. So try to go with something else. Maybe something that mimics the team cars a little bit more if we can get that straightened out. But we're on the right path. Even at Indy last week, we had some bright spots, even though Danny ended up kind of getting screwed out of the finish, more or less. We got a good finish, Byron got a good finish, and whether it was strategy or whatnot, we had decent speed, which I can't say has been the case the rest of the year. So we're going to be good next week. We're going to try to give Kenny and PJ and apparently Bose a road racer now, so we're going to give them a run for their money and see if we can't get this 5-car win this year.
And that's Michael Conti coming home in position number 3 here this evening. I believe Joe Cortez has caught up with Anthony Kernick.
Anthony Kernick finishing in 4th tonight. And Anthony, let me ask you about this car. It seemed like there's a lot of race left in this car. Are you happy with 4th, or could it have been a little bit better if we had a few more laps?
No, that's probably about as high up as I could have finished there.
All
Other
right,
guys
let's try
in front
Anthony
were too far
Kernick again. Anthony, you got us, buddy?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was a tough race because I had to get through the start, and that was probably the most important part of the race. And then I guess the race really started for me at the end of the first lap, and it was just a matter of not making any mistakes.
All right, let's try this one more time.
Now, Anthony, we talk about the battle that we had throughout this race. You had Logan Clampett behind you. How much were you looking in that rearview mirror trying to keep Logan Clampett behind you in those last few laps?
Yeah, it was definitely tough because he was faster in the carousel and through the last couple of corners. So it's just a matter of keeping it straight and not making any mistakes. And then he made a mistake near the end, and I managed to hold on for 4th place.
So we see you racing here. Fantastic road performance here this evening. Where else do we see you racing on the iRacing service?
I pretty much run both road and oval. You see me often in A-Fixed and the occasional B-Fix race, and also on the roadside I run IndyCar, and sometimes I run the Global Challenge.
So Mid-Ohio comes up here, a couple of road courses up here in the B Series schedule. We going to see you any more on this B Open Series?
Oh, you might see me occasionally. Darlington coming up as well. That's one of my favorite tracks.
And that's going to be a great show. And we hope to see you back here in Victory Lane at least. There's Anthony Koenig. Tony, what a great show that he put on. And you're caught up with the driver that put a lot of pressure on him in those last couple laps, Logan Clampett.
Yeah, Logan did put a lot of pressure on that number 4 car. And Logan, we saw a couple of times where you were right on top of that number 4, but ultimately looked like maybe he had a little bit more than you did. Or was it simply a matter of you got a little greedy and missed your marks?
Yeah, I believe I was a lot faster on the short run than Anthony, and I was right on him that whole run until it started to get around lap 30 where I was starting to fall off, but I got right on his bumper and tried to fake it corners, and he braked earlier than I expected, so I locked him up and almost spun.
What's it like, though, having a battle like that? Yeah, it's frustrating for it to end where you end up that far in arrears, that close to the end, but what's it like to battle somebody like that around Watkins Glen so close for so long?
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I haven't battled someone that close at Watkins Glen, and I don't even think I ever battled someone that close in the final laps, but it was like a really fun race. I'm surprised I got a top 5 out of it because I'm just really bad at road courses. But top 5, I'll take it. Dustin Linger worked really hard on the setup, and Houston also. Dead Zone overall worked on it too. Dustin has been working with us the last couple weeks and helping Bose with Peak and B Open and stuff, and we've gotten a lot faster.
Well, it certainly paid off here tonight. Congratulations on a solid top 5 run, and we look forward to seeing you more in the future.
Yep, thank you.
As Logan Clampett, Tim, the 5th place finisher here tonight, and that'll round out the top 5 finishers here at Watkins Glen International. You know, one thing is for certain, 1 week from now, here at the old boot, or not the boot, but the at the Glen. Sometimes I wish we ran the boot here, but at the Glen, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a game of strategy, a game of errors, or who makes the least amount of them, and certainly one of sheer outright speed when the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series comes in. Cannot wait for it just 7 nights from now.
And you know what? We saw some drivers get the boot this evening. We saw a couple of bump and runs. We saw some guys leaning into each other, almost like a short track, as we mentioned off the top of the show, in some of those corners with some of those drivers. When you put the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series drivers out there, it's going to be exciting. Kenny Humpy goes in, I believe, without the drop, Tony. I think the number's 131 between the top 2. So they've pretty much engraved the trophy, at least 2 or 3 letters. We'll see if Kenny Humpy can keep it on the road and keep his point lead intact after leaving Watkins Glen International. That's going to do it for us here this evening. So for the entire PSR TV and iRacing Live crew, Chuck Johnson, who's somewhere, Joe Cortez, who's somewhere, Ian Bushing, Tony Stevens, my name is Tim Terry. We'll see you next week. We say, let's go racing from Watkins Glen International. Keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.
It's been a very long off-season. Teams have changed, sponsors have changed, colors and all, but one thing that hasn't, they like to mash the loud pedal. Green flag is out on the 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series season.
iRacing is the ideal platform for these broadcasts because we have the best racers, the best online racers in the world, and we have such a variety of racing, from NASCAR to Grand Prix style racing, sports car, endurance racing. We do it all.
Since 2010, the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series has been the absolute pinnacle of road racing in a simulated form. Great start then by Yakoda from the front. They're packing up behind number one. They're going to be 4 wide as they come down into turn number 1 for the first time. Will they make it through that first corner? You can see them funneling through the center S's. It looks as though everyone has just about made it through. We have got ourselves some contact though, Rachel.
Side by side going into turns 3 and 4. Humpy's got the advantage, but Ottinger's not going to.
Oh, he got into him!
Ottinger gets into the 58, turns right into him, and that ends Ottinger's run.
We do a lot of live broadcasts now. Every Tuesday is NASCAR night, so on alternating Tuesdays we do the Peak Antifreeze Series, and on the other Tuesdays the B-Class Series, which is the Xfinity cars, and sometimes we'll even do some short track racing depending on the schedule. Every other Saturday we do the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series, so the best road racers we have. And we also broadcast some special events, including the Endurance Championship, which is part of the Road Warriors Series. So we broadcast the Daytona 24, the Sebring 12 Hour, we'll do the Watkins Glen 6 Hour, several other races along there. And then, of course, the iRacing Pro Racing Champions, which is usually our biggest and most watched event of the year.
That is short track racing, and that's how awesome this sim is, Joe. That's something you see on TV on highlight reels, and we just saw it here, live.
We invite iRacers who are real-world racers, and they compete every December. Guys like Alex Gurney, Justin Wilson, Scott Speed, Ron Capps, the list goes on. Really some big-name drivers from all major forms of motorsport. It's really neat to see them get together and race together.
See Laughlin up top, down to the ball, gets turned! Laughlin gets turned! Caution is out foul at the front of the field!
The easiest place to find the broadcast is on our website, iracing.com/live. So you can find some of our races on fanschoice.tv as well. A nice place to find iRacing broadcasts. You can also find it at mrn.com and peakauto.com.